everyone, I'm here with my video response to Carolyn, who is crafting with wine here on YouTube. She is hosting a challenge, and I'm going to link the video that explains all that in the description box below. But there are several ways you can enter. I chose to make the 2 handmade cards for her to give to her mother who lives in a nursing home. So it was to make 1 feminine card and 1 masculine card. So I'm going to share those with you. So first thing, I use this on both my cards to do some blending. And this is the Little Acres Creations blending tool. And I will say I used this for the first time when making these cards. And I was really surprised at how much better my blending was. Blending something I really struggle with because I want to put like a whole lot of pressure on it, and I know it does better if you do it in, with a really light hand and then just add layers and layers, but that's something I really struggle with. But I noticed a huge difference in using this than when I used the little plastic ones that you get at the box stores. So this thing is great. So I use that for both. And then I'm going to share my masculine card first. This is the stamp set I used. I used this deer here, and this is Remembering Christmas by Stampin' Up. And I used these dies. These are the basic pierced ovals by Little Darlings Rubber Stamps. So it comes with all them. I used the largest die in this set. And then I used this Stampin' Up. There's a W. Huh. That's funny. Distress tool. So this is the masculine card I made. And then I also used some washi tape, but I didn't bring it up here. But anyway, all I did was white heat emboss the deer head. And then I used Distress Ink Vintage Photo for the oval piece, and then also on the background papers, and I distressed the edges and used the Vintage Photo in that. And I really like how this turned out, and I did leave the inside blank so she can use it for a get well, happy birthday, thinking of you, whatever she wants to. So that's the first card. And then the other card, I used the Casual Fridays Pretty Posy stamp and matching dies. And I also used this stencil. I don't know if it has a name or not. Sunrise Set Stencils Flower. So I used that. And then this was the other card I made. And I like this card because you could either, do it that way, or you can turn it and it works that way too. Personally, I kind of like it this way, but either way, whichever way you like best. And there is a lot of Wink and Stella on there, so it's really pretty and shiny. And I am not going to explain how I did this card because I'm going to attach a process video to the end of this video. So if you want to actually see the step-by-step process of how I made it, just keep watching. So the first thing I did was I cut down some cheap watercolor paper. And I am going to be using my Misty for this for 2 reasons. One is I like using my Misty when I'm working with watercolor paper. That way I can repeat stamp as many times as needed to get a clear, crisp image. And 2, these are brand new stamps. So this is my first time using them. And sometimes you need to repeat stamping when you're using new stamps to get a really good, clear, crisp image. So I'm just ink them up with Versamark ink because I am going to be using some white embossing powder, and I did double stamp them because I wanted to make sure I had a good image. And this is just Stampin' Up white embossed powder, and I am going to heat set that, but I also turned the paper around. I didn't show it on camera, but I inked it up and I embossed a second set of the images. So I have 2 of each image. And I am just going to do some very basic, very simple, messy watercoloring of these images. I am using my Magello Mission Gold watercolors, and like I said, this is just very basic, very simple, very messy. I'm not worried about shading. I'm not worried about staying inside the lines. I purposely go outside the lines because I want this to have a very messy look to it. So I'm sorry, I do not know the names of the colors I used, but this all does come in this set. All of the colors do come in the set. So when you buy the set, you will have all of the colors that I used. So I just chose some of the colors that I really like and I really think go well together, which is pink, yellow, and the little flowers, I do this kind of pinkish purple. And then for the center of the flowers, I'm going to use orange. And I kind of noticed that some of the paint was pulling on the centers of the flowers. So I just took my paper towel and gently dabbed that little bitty speck of paint up that was kind of pulling. And then I used the matching dies to die cut all of those images out. And I am going to take a stencil, and I have just taped a piece of plain white cardstock to this stencil, and I am taking some pink and yellow Simon Says stamp ink and my Little Acres Creations ink blending tool, and I am just going over this stencil with those inks to make my own background. I do love pattern paper, but this is something that I find myself doing a lot, is making my own backgrounds. So that is what that looks like when I remove the stencil. And now I'm just going to take my Tombow wet adhesive, and this is my favorite type of wet glue. I love this stuff, and a bottle of this lasts months and months and months. I have had this bottle for I don't know how long, and it's finally starting to run low. That's why you'll see me kind of shaking it off there to the side. I don't remember when I even bought this, and it is so cheap. I think I got this with a 60% off coupon. I think full price it's like $4, but I got it at Joann's with like a 50 or 60% off coupon for less than $2, and I just love it. So I'm taking just a pink card base and adhering my card panel to this card base. And that's another reason I love this glue, is because it gives you just a few seconds, and I do mean seconds, of wiggle room, because I can never get my card panel straight. I've yet to master that. And then on the inside of the card, I have these two other images I colored and die cut. So I decided to go ahead and use them and put them on the inside of the card, just to decorate the inside up a little bit. And I do put an acrylic block on those images for just a few seconds, giving them long enough to stick. And then the last thing I'm going to do is take my clear Wink of Stella and go over all of the flowers and leaves. Now, since this is watercolor paint, it is reactivated. So what I'm doing off to the side is I am just brushing the brush of my Wink of Stella pen on a paper towel to get that color off, because I don't want to mix my pinks with my greens and my greens with my yellow and so on. So that is my card. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.